Today we're going to be reviewing the card game Munchkins. It's a game that can be very intense at times and can bring out a lot of strong emotions in your play group. So let's go ahead and get started by first looking at the contents of this box. When you open the box for Munchkins, you're going to find 168 total cards, with each card considered either a door card or a treasure card. You'll also find a 1 6-sided die, 1 rule sheet, and on top of these things that come in the box, you're also going to want either a paper and pencil or the Munchkins app on your phone so that you can better track your levels and power. I highly recommend doing one of those two things. Even though those things don't come in the box, they are extremely helpful for you with tracking game progress. Moving on to the gameplay part, first I want to remind you that this is a review and not a walkthrough video, so I'll only talk about the main mechanics of the game. So the goal of the game is to get to level 10 before anybody else in the game. You start by deciding who gets to go first, and then moving in a clockwise rotation from there. The game is played in turns. Each player's turn is divided into phases. When it is your turn, you start by first setting up your cards the way you want to before kicking open the door. Usually this means getting your equipment, race cards, class cards, all set up the way you want them to be before knocking open the door. When kicking open the door, if you find a monster or a curse card, those things will either bring you immediately into a combat phase, or a curse will be applied to you immediately. If you don't find a monster when you kick open the door, you get to choose one of two things. Either look for trouble by fighting a monster from your hand, or you can loot the room. If you choose to look for trouble or find a monster when kicking open the door, then you enter into the combat phase. In the combat phase, if you defeat the monster, you will get the treasure. If you do not defeat the monster, you could possibly die and lose your gear. To defeat a monster, your power has to be greater than the monster. Other players can choose to intervene during the combat phase. They can intervene by either choosing to help you, although only one player can assist you. All the other players would be able to play cards to either boost the monster's stats or lower the monster's stats. They can also try to hinder you, again, like I said, by boosting the monster's stats or lowering your stats or affecting the combat in some other way. This period of the game is often where we get lots of deep negotiations at the table. After results of the battle, if you won, you're going to receive those treasures that the monster rewards you for defeating it. If you lose, then there's a possibility that you could die if you don't successfully escape. If you do die, you lose your gear and you lose some levels and things like that to the other players. The turns continue to be played until one player reaches the level 10 by defeating a monster. That's the only way you can reach level 10, is by defeating a monster. Once this happens, that player wins the game. So let's go ahead and move on to my rating now. I would rate this game a 3 out of 5. I enjoy the intense play patterns that happen in this game, but I have found that a lot of arguing and hurt feelings also come with this game. What usually happens is that two players get way ahead of everybody else, and in the final moments of the game, the rest of the table, who has no hope of winning, has no other choice other than to play Kingmaker. So, then you have one salty player who feels that the whole table ganged up on them and gave the victory to the other player. Normally, I don't have a problem with competition, but I have had many different play groups play this game, and all of these play groups end up with the same ending: one upset player who came close to victory. Now, this might not be a big deal for you or your particular play group, but for mine, this was certainly an issue. Overall, it's a good game with the right play group. Let me know your thoughts of Munchkins in the comments below, and thank you for watching.